Hey everybody, just a quick update. This is a re-upload of a video that I had uploaded earlier in the day that ran for a couple hours, had about 12,000 views, and then I checked the comments section and went, holy cow. I do not understand where all of the hate came from. I did not know that I'm not allowed to say the name Starlink without having Starlink. I'm not even allowed to have an opinion on the internet. I'm very confused by the events of this morning. However, I have decided that I'm not going to let people be nasty on my channel, so I'm going to re-upload that video. I'm going to turn comments off for this video because you do not have a right to be nasty and aggressive towards myself or anybody else who has a different opinion than you have about Starlink. So this video is my opinion based on gathering information from 34 of my RV friends who have Starlink and have had some issues. I'm sharing some of those because most people are very nervous and scared about sharing any kind of negativity they've had after spending nearly $900 in Starlink equipment and the subscription and the taxes and the shipping and everything involved with that. So I'm here to share and translate some of those things that have been told to me, and again address the most common question on my channel: why don't you have Starlink yet, Eric? So here's that video in its entirety. Hey everybody, Eric here from Nomadic Fanatic. I hope you all are doing well. Yes, in this video we are going to be talking about Starlink and why I still don't have Starlink. I know you might be asking yourself, Eric, how can you do a review of Starlink if you've never even had Starlink? Stay tuned, I got some important stuff to cover. Yeah, thanks for being here, guys. I will be uploading this video with some Nomad internet. You'll find a link below in the video description for that if you need it. I highly recommend it. I don't have Starlink. I've been holding out on getting Starlink. I've been waiting for a few things to happen within the company for it to be a little bit more reliable. However, a lot has changed, and I want to share some information that I've been gathering from other friends who have it, the problems they've had, what they love and hate about it in this video. So the most common question I get on my YouTube channel in the comment section below many of my videos is, Eric, why don't you have Starlink yet? It's the bee's knees. We are at a campground. I will just let you know there's going to be some ambient sounds. There's a road out here and there's kids playing at the playground and at other campsites, but it is a very common misconception that RVers have that Starlink is magically the solution to everything as far as having internet on the road, and it simply is not the case. So in this video I'm going to share with you the reasons why it's not for me and help you make a better informed decision for yourself. So before we go any further on this, what is Starlink? I'm going to give you a real basic, less than 30 seconds to understand what I'm talking about. Starlink is internet through satellite up in the sky, through low orbit satellites that were shot up, and Starlink officially became available to customers in 2019. So about 3 years now, Starlink has kind of been available. It depends on where you're at. It's kind of geared towards people who are out in remote areas where you don't have a cell phone tower, or you don't have the capability to run miles and miles of fiber optics or coax cable in order to get internet to where you're at. So you can just connect to a satellite up there and get internet through space. Another way to think about it is, many of you know what a satellite dish is for TV. Those have been around forever. There's even some you can put on the roof. Well, those satellites need to have a clear shot of the southern sky in order to bring in cable TV. Well, similarly, that's what Starlink is doing, except it focuses more on the northern sky, and it connects with satellites to give you internet where you're at. Technically, this is not any new technology. This has been around since I was a kid. We lived way out remote, and I remember that we had a satellite dish called HughesNet right next to our dish network, and it reached up there. Although speeds were slower than dial-up, it was the only way we could get internet out there at our house. However, Starlink is completely new, completely revolutionized, and has incredible boasted speeds of 500 megabits per second download. For residential houses only, though. So when they first began in 2019, there were huge wait lists in order to get this at your house. Then still to this day, people are on a wait list that is estimated more than a year before they're going to be able to get in. The reason for that is because Starlink was really smart about having this map of the United States and even other countries, and they built them in a little honeycomb cells that they call them. Once that cell gets too full, according to Starlink, they won't let anybody else use it. That is how they're able to promise such high speeds to households because they're not letting more people clog the network. They're shutting it down. So I guess that's kind of a good thing if you're an existing customer. You're actually getting treated well by the company not being greedy and putting more people on so your speeds just drop to nothing. But for that reason, there have been some very long wait lists. And we've all been wondering, when is this going to be practical for RVers out in the middle of nowhere? We're close, guys. We're not there yet, but hang on. Recently, last year, they made the service available to RVs, although they did not upgrade the bulky equipment at all. But as long as you weren't in one of those wait list areas, and so what RVers were doing was they were having it shipped to another address that wasn't in a wait list area, and then they would set it up there so they could take it on the road. The problem is it took until about last year where they actually started doing roaming, but it wasn't really roaming. It was like kind of an analog version of roaming. So what you would do is, after I left this campground and I go next door over into Oregon or Idaho, I would have to call Starlink up and I would have to tell them, hey, here's my new service address. So we're not really changing it and making it roaming. We're just constantly, every day or every few days we move, we have to change our service address to where we're physically at. The big news was just 2 months ago, Starlink introduced Starlink for RVs, a brand new service for $135. What this did this summer is changed everything, even to the point where you've got people in homes like in Orlando or Los Angeles who've been waiting years to get in. All of a sudden they hear that they can today sign up for Starlink for RVs and get the equipment for $600, set it up for $135 a month, and get internet today, but at reduced speeds. Yeah. So that was the big change. You could now get Starlink immediately, bypass these huge year-long wait lists, and get it right now at lower speeds. So it's very popular right now. You've probably seen plenty of videos of people telling you it's awesome, you should get it, we should all get it, like right now, and this is going to be the answer and solution to everything. But it really isn't. That's why no matter where you go at in any campground in this country now, your neighbor's going to come over and say, why don't you just get Starlink? It's going to fix everything. Well, speeds are going to be a lot slower. So the way they do it is you're going to get 500 down and like 100 upload megabits per second, which is incredible at your house. However, the website says that even though you can use your RV version anywhere, even in waitlisted areas, this is the part that's changed. So you can go to those areas that are really clogged and are waitlisted, and even the houses can't get it. And if I'm in an RV, I can set it up and I can get something. However, they even admit that speeds are going to be significantly slower. And because I've talked to friends, many RV friends who have bought into Starlink for RV and have tried it in those areas, oftentimes the speeds are unusable. I've had friends tell me that between 5 p.m. and 10 p.m., it drops to literally nothing, unusable. They have to use their cell phone hotspot between any time at night because Starlink just doesn't work at night at all, period. But still, in the middle of the daytime and at night, let's say you're out in the middle of nowhere, Wainuchi, where I don't have any cell phone service, although I don't think I'll ever go back there after what happened. If I could set up my Starlink right there by the river and get something to upload a video in the daytime, even if it goes to nothing at 5 p.m., it would change things, wouldn't it? It would, and that's why it's exciting, to a point. Now, let me talk about some of the known issues with Starlink still currently here in the summer of 22 and why I'm not on board yet. You gotta buy the equipment. You gotta buy all new proprietary equipment for $600 plus $95 shipped in order to have this. And it's the same exact stuff as you would get if you were at a residential house. It's a big, bulky, metal, 4-leg, steel stand that sits on the ground, and then a normal white, bulky antenna, and then 75 feet of wire. Now, me personally, I've already got some invested stuff into my cellular stuff. Obviously, I have Nomad Internet Hotspot, which connects to cell towers. I've got a $600 cell phone booster that I installed on my RV, which has an exterior antenna hooked to the top of the ladder up there, which amplifies the signal from a cell tower. That comes into an amplifier in my RV, and then that goes to another separate antenna inside my RV, where as long as I'm within range with either my Nomad Internet or my cell phone, I'm gonna get better service. Not to mention, if you're a nomad like me who moves quite often, you are going to have to set up and tear down that dish and the wire and the stand and everything every single time you leave. Not only every single time you leave, but are you going to leave it out when you go out and explore? Because there is currently no way to lock or secure your dish, and because people know it's $600 worth of stuff, people are just going to grab it. There's no way to lock it down, so you got to put it away. You got to put it away at night before you go to bed. Say you're laying in bed watching some Nomadic Fanatic on YouTube. Oh, I'm tired. I got to put my shoes on and my pants back on. I got to go outside, spend 15 minutes to gather it all up and secure it back up, and then I can go back to bed. And then in the morning when you wake up and you want to check to see if Nomadic Fanatic's uploaded a new video, no internet. Before I even make my coffee, I got to go set up Starlink once again at the campground. Compare that to Nomad Internet. I just push a button. Internet's on. Push a button. Internet's off. See where I'm going with this? Convenience. It's important for a full-time RVer like me. Also, you know, Nomad Internet and any kind of cell-provided internet is something that is not new, okay? It's been around for a very long time. It is fairly reliable, although let's admit nothing is perfect, including Nomad Internet, including hotspot on my phone through Verizon. So nothing is perfect, but this technology is not new, so there's no guessing game. There's no unknowns. Starlink, there's so many unknowns right now. Plus, this works through the trees. Do you see all these trees? Starlink does not work, not with just a few trees. I'm talking just 1 or 2 trees nearby out in the distance can affect it, because Starlink does not just connect to one satellite in the northern sky. Starlink needs the entire northern sky to be wide open. Nobody here at this campground has Starlink. It doesn't work. There's no possible way. It needs all the satellites up there in order to use Starlink. This also cannot be taken or stolen or damaged or get water on it outside, because this stays inside the RV, although I can take it anywhere I want. And as an extra bonus, although this is a bad example, but I've been to plenty of other campgrounds, resorts, camping areas, dispersed camping, where you can recognize a Starlink antenna. They stick out like a sore thumb right now. The more people that ditch this and pay into Starlink, well, it kind of speeds up and unclogs our network on the cellular towers. So it really is a good thing that people keep joining Starlink, for me and for other people, right? My main personal takeaway from Starlink is, and this is my opinion, is that Starlink still is not ready for full-time RVers as our main internet on the road. And that's my opinion. You may disagree with that. I'm not done though. I have over 30 different RV friends that have been reporting back to me over the years. And of those 30 or maybe even 35 friends, I only have 2 friends that are actually happy with Starlink. And that, if you want to talk to them, RV Rebel Girl on YouTube and Red, White, and Bethune on YouTube, they love Starlink. But I still want to be clear and point out that neither of them rely solely on Starlink. Obviously, because just like this, it doesn't work everywhere. Starlink does not work everywhere. There are going to be times that you are not going to get Starlink, obviously. The friends of mine who have had problems with Starlink are very vocal, but at that point, you're already invested, right? My advice, if you're on the edge and you still think you're gonna get Starlink after watching my video today, don't get rid of your backup internet yet. Make sure that there is a good amount of time of overlap before you ditch everything, because my feeling is you're going to say this kind of stuff is still going to be your primary internet through cell phone towers, and Starlink is simply going to be an extra tool in your arsenal for certain places. You're not even going to set it up all the time, because you're not going to want to set it up all the time. Not when you can just push a button on your internet and have it working from a tower like normal. You know what I'm saying? Now, I also have another concern about Starlink moving forward, and that is, at first, when they were making sure nobody else could get into these cells, that was probably good for existing customers. Now, anybody can get Starlink for RV. Anybody right now. And you can use it in these high wait-listed areas, which is not good moving forward, because Starlink speeds are just going to continue to get slower and slower and slower. the company has now officially recognized Starlink for RVs like us, the 1.3 million full-time and recreational RVs that need a solution for internet. They have a package for us. I personally believe that within 2 years tops, we are going to see a new bundled package for Starlink, which is going to be more of a permanent dish mounted for our RV that stays up there, something that we can do similarly like with Dish Outdoors or DirecTV, have that mounted up there, and then we come inside when we want to use Starlink, we push a button, and then we wait. I think that we are close to that. But even with that change, we're still not going to fix the problem with needing to connect to all these satellites through heavily treed areas. So if you're giving 500 megabits per download to residential people, you realize we don't need that, right? Me personally, and I think many people can relate to this, as far as uploading videos and streaming YouTube and Netflix and Hulu and stuff like that, we would be happy if the bottom line was 20 megabits per second download and 10 upload. 20, 10, period. But here's the key. It can't go under that. It can't keep going to 0. It can't, okay? Whatever you're gonna charge us for on the RV plan, you have got to give us a baseline. Otherwise, this service is completely 100% useless to RVers. You gotta respect us too. You know, you've given the residential people that line where it doesn't go, you gotta give us a line. But that line doesn't need to be 300, 100, 50, 20. Okay, Starlink, listening, please? What else do I need to see happen with Starlink or change with Starlink in order for me to get on board? You can't sell a product to RVers that doesn't fix the problem that we already have. Okay, with this, our speeds on the towers get all clogged and it's almost useless between 5 p.m. and 10 p.m. You put these satellites up and you offer us this service and try to get us to go, and you have the same exact problem presented to us as RVers. Nothing got fixed. It's the same exact issues with brand new technology. Why? Again, give us a borderline, a bottom number, and stick to it. Don't let it drop underneath that, and then we'll be on board. Fix these issues and make Starlink dependable in all areas of the country while I'm parked, because we don't care about in motion, and I'm on board. And I think everybody would be on board. Everybody would. But for me right now, I am going to continue to rely on cell phone towers. I know there will be places where I will go and it will not work. I will not have internet for a few days. There will be times at night where this is just not going to be able to stream YouTube. I understand that. It is what it is. I'll upload my videos at night if I have to. If you're like me and you're very excited about Starlink, but you know there's some things that still need to be worked out and fixed in order for us to pull the trigger, give this video a thumbs up, a like, and let Starlink know that this is also something that you agree with moving forward in order to capture the RV community. I'm not a hater of Starlink. I love the company. I love what they're doing. Technology is very, very exciting to me, but that does not mean that you need to be one of the first people to jump on something thinking it's going to be the end-all best change solution to all these problems we have. That's all I'm saying. And of course, this is my opinion. Thanks for watching, guys. Opie and Tara, and I will see you in the next video from Seattle. Bye, guys.